بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. As our brother Hud, Ahsanallahu ilayhi, has already put forth, we're going to talk inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala about this issue, which is an extremely important issue, because I don't believe that there's anyone who's sitting there except that when he takes a look at himself, he says to himself, I can do better in Islam, and I can aspire to be a better Muslim and on a higher level in this religion. So we're going to talk about some of those ways and some of the things that we can do in order to obtain the lofty heights that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made for the sons and the daughters of Adam, as He told us in the Qur'an, لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي Adam. Verily we have honored the sons and the daughters of Adam, and we have created them in the ahsani taqweem, and we have made them in the best mold. We look at the authentic hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. We find the hadith of his grandson Al-Husayn ibn Ali radiyallahu anhuma, that has been collected by an Imam Al-Hakim rahmatullahi alayhi, in which the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam described one of the characteristics of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what Allah loves by saying, in Allah ta'ala يحب معالي الأمور وأشرافها ويكره سفسافها. Surely Allah loves that people take care of the high and the lofty affairs and the honorable affairs. He doesn't love that the people, when they come around, they sit together and you find that the majority of their speech is about other people or events that took place. But Allah Ta'ala loves when the people are busying themselves with the greater issues, those higher issues, like wherever the person lives, he knows that there's a need for the Muslims to develop an Islamic school. So the Muslims of that locale, of that area, they get together and they try to figure out a serious way, a practical way of developing a school. They put their differences aside, they make sacrifices in order to create at need that their children have. Allah Ta'ala loves those kinds of affairs, that the people take the time out to try to raise their present situation. And we're going to tell you some of the things that you can do in order to raise your present state. So there are many factors that figure into the equation, but we're going to talk inshallah about 4 or 5 of them, depending upon what the time allows. And maybe during the question and the answer time, we're going to turn our attention to some more issues, because there are so many. And most of them, ikhwan, as you're going to find, come from the Qur'an and the Sunnah, and they are obtainable. It's just that people have to take the time out to get serious about the issue. He recognizes the deficiency within himself, and he says, let me go about trying to be of those people who are successful. The first thing, or the first factor that we want to talk about, and since I arrived in this place today, there must have been about 4 or 5 different brothers who came to me asking me about this question. And we get this question on a daily basis or on a weekly basis where we're at there in Florida, by way of telephone or by way of people writing to us. And that is the first factor that figures into helping a person to raise his status in terms of getting the rif'ah in the religion, is the role that the parents play in helping that child to be a person who is one of the people who have this lofty status. If it's true what the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and it is true, وَرَبِّ الْكَعْبَةِ, when he told us, الْمَرْءُ عَلَى دِينِ خَلِيلِهِ فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ لِمَنْ يُخَالِلْ. verily the person is going to be on the religion of his beloved person, on the religion of his Khalil. The person who he loves, he honors and he respects, he's going to be similar to him in his religion. So let each and every one of you pay attention to the person that he takes as a Khalil. If this is the case, and it is, it clearly establishes for us that the mother and the father of the child play an important role in giving him this rifa. We don't have to look very far for a living example. All we have to do is look at the examples of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We take a person like Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, whose father was Abu Sufyan, one of those tremendous chieftains and personalities in al-Jahiliyyah prior to al-Islam. One of those people who the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in giving dawah and recognizing people and their worth, when he went and he conquered Mecca, he told the people, whoever makes it down to the Kaaba, if you get to the Kaaba, we're going to leave you alone. And if whoever goes and he makes it safely to the house of Abu Sufyan, we're not going to do anything to him. And whoever leaves Mecca, the precincts, we're not going to do anything to him. So he recognized that Abu Sufyan within his people was a tremendous personality, along with his wife, the mother of Muawiyah, Hind bintu Abi Umayyah, one of those women in al-Jahiliyyah. If you were to marry this woman, or you marry from her family, you were considered to be of those people who are honorable. So it wasn't a strange issue that Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, after the death of the Khulafa al-Rashidin, it wasn't strange that he would become the leader of the Muslims. Similar to him is Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr, whose father was al-Zubayr ibn Awam and his mother was Asma, the daughter of Abu Bakr al-Siddiq. You put two people like that together, you're going to get a natija or a result like Abdullah. Look at Al-Hasan al-Hussein, his mother and father, Ali and Fatima. So therefore, when those brothers come to me, or those sisters call me, and they say, I'm looking to get married, those brothers who are not married, if they want to have an impact on their children, in terms of having children who are above average, they have to take the time out not to marry just any woman because she's available for marriage. No, he has to take the time out to choose that kind of woman that is going to bring to the table that which is going to benefit him as well as his child. And in the same level of the parents are those people who play the role that the parent plays for the child. For an example, the teacher. For an example, the scholar. The teacher and the scholar similarly is going to have an impact in helping that student raise himself up. All we have to do again, ikhwan, is look and not look very far at what took place with Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i rahmatullahi alayhi, who was one of the many students of Al-Imam Malik. And Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i, no doubt, he was affected by the da'wah and the teachings of Al-Imam Malik. Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i, when he began his talab and he first began his search for knowledge, he read the Muwatta of Al-Imam Malik on Al-Imam Malik. So he was able to go through the book of Al-Imam Malik with the Shaykh himself. And so many times you find in his writings, like in his book Al-Risala, in his book Al-Umm, he's always saying, I benefited this from Al-Imam Malik. This is the way that Al-Imam Malik used to teach the people. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, how many times those people who can read Arabic, if you read those books of those scholars that Ibn Taymiyyah taught, and he was their sheikh, you're not going to find any of them except that in every single book that they write, they're going to tell you, and I benefited this from Al-Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, Al-Imam Ibn Kathir, Ibn Rajab, Al-Imam Al-Zahabi, all of them say the same thing. So the very first factor that we want to mention is the importance of the role that the parents play, and the importance of the role that those people are in the position that the parents are in, like those people who are ulama, those people who are students of knowledge. When I met the brothers who came from the Bahamas today, they all came upon me at one time, and I'm obviously happy to see them because I've been to the Bahamas so many times. We have brothers who are here who come all the way from Anchorage, Alaska. After giving my greetings to those brothers, I figured the most worthy and beneficial advice that I can give to those brothers who came from the Bahamas was, now that you people have come here, and in this place we have some people who are qualified to teach this religion, and they know about this religion, then I think it is within your best interest to take this time now to get the rif'ah in the religion. Don't come all the way from Anchorage, Alaska, or from any place else that you've come from in the dunya. You come all the way here, and you're going to waste your time with qila wa qal, just sitting over trying to discuss how well the chicken was or how well the chicken wasn't. No, you have to get together and put down those questions that concern you in your religion. Prior to coming here, and this is for future references, inshallah, whenever you want to come to one of these conferences and you see the people who have been collected here from the Arab shuyukh especially, before even coming here, you need to prepare some questions and some issues so that you can raise off of yourself that issue of not knowing, and you become of those people who know. Because now we are in a position, alhamdulillah, to be around those people who really know. So the second issue that we want to mention, inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala, is an extremely important issue, and it's not befitting for one single lesson to go by without us mentioning this issue in one shape, form, or fashion. And that is, the second thing that will help a person to develop a rif'ah fi deen is for the person to have a salama fi aqidatihi, to have a good ideology, not to be a person who is a deviant or he has deviant ideas in his mind. This good aqidah is from the awjab al-wajibat ala al-Muslim. Out of all of the things that Allah Ta'ala has made obligatory upon the man and the woman, the most important issue is him having the proper concept in his ideology. The man who marries that woman and she gives birth to him, he gives a child to him, she gives a child, a brand new child. He wants that woman to put his new baby to start to drink, and the first milk that that baby takes is pure, clear milk as far as that aqidah is concerned. He doesn't want a woman who's going to give his milk, the milk to the child, and it's contaminated and it's polluted with some foreign ideas and concepts in al-Islam. That goes for him as well as the wife. What's the proof that the aqidah is going to give you rif'ah in the religion? There are too many. The statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he told us, وَمَنْ يُرِيدُ الْعِزَّةِ فَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ الْجَمِيعَ. And whoever wants the izzah, the honor, to be raised up, whoever wants to be aziz, to be respected, whoever wants the izzah, then verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He owns all of the izzah. So if you want the izzah, go to the door and knock on the door where you get it. So how do you get the izzah? You get the izzah by having the proper aqidah, knowing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't. Now the other thing about the aqidah, and this is an extremely important point that we need all of you to pay attention, and we need some tarkeez from the brothers and the sisters, especially those people who Allah ta'ala has blessed, where they have the energy and the desire to give da'wah to this haqq that we are upon, inshallah ta'ala. We have found that there's a common thread that runs through the people who are upon the da'wah of the Qur'an and the Sunnah wherever you go. And that common thread, after studying it, it clearly shows us that we are our own worst enemy. And that we give people excuses to reject the da'wah because of the way we behave, not taking into consideration people's levels and conditions, people's states, people's position in the society, people's positions in the eyes of the people, and we talk to everyone as if they are the same across the board. You may be the son or the daughter, and you talk to the parent like the parent is the child. The imam has been the imam in the masjid, and he doesn't have a lot of knowledge because Allah didn't give him the tawfiq yet. And he has his community who they're looking at him. And the human being, for the most part, he's egotistical, he's on his desire, he's on his nafs, he has this self-respect and this honor. Sometimes it gets in the way. So the person who sees him doing something that's not correct, like the way he prays, taking a sutra or not taking the sutra, dressing this way or not dressing that way, praying this way or not praying that way, you want to give him advice, and you give him advice as if he's some regular person in the community. It's that common thread. The point that I want to make here is, if a person's aqidah is correct, it's going to have an impact, and it's going to play a role in his action, in his suluk, and his tasarrufat, and his harakat, and the way that that person is moving and grooving between the people. His aqidah is going to play a role in how he acts. The good aqidah is going to have an effect on his character, on his akhlaq. And the bad aqidah, on the other hand, is going to have a role, it's going to play and have an effect on his character. When we look at the Qur'an, this issue comes clear to us when we look at the Jews. From the many foreign wicked concepts that they had, is the statement that Allah Ta'ala told us about. When they said, وَقَالُوا لَن تَمَسُّنَا النَّارُ إِلَّا أَيَّامٍ مَعْدُودَةٍ قُلْ اتَّخَذْتُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ عَهْدًا. They said, and the hellfire is not going to touch us except for a few days. We know that we're doing wrong. We know that Muhammad is the truth. We stood against him when we tried to kill him. We hid the knowledge that was with us about him. We broke the contracts that we had with him. We know that it's the truth, and we know that we're doing a lot of wrong as far as the Torah is concerned. We're supposed to follow Muhammad. But because we are Allah's people, God's people, the hellfire, when we go to it, it's only going to burn us for 40 days. So therefore, we can do whatever we want to do. That wicked aqeedah of theirs, that wicked concept, allowed them to do what? To go about their business without accepting the truth, thinking that that was their reward. Look at the Christians, the same problem. God so loved the human beings, all the world, that he sent his only beloved son. If you just believe that Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salam is the son of God, do whatever you want, be a homosexual, smoke crack, be an alcoholic, be a prostitute, do whatever you want. All you have to do is recognize that Isa is the son of Allah, and you're going to go to paradise. That's a wicked concept, and as a result of the wicked aqidah, the person's actions also become wicked. So this is one of the things why you find from the usul of the dawah to Salafiyah is that the scholars of this dawah past and present, and the books of this dawah past and present, and the students of this dawah past and present have and will always take the opportunity and the time out to say to the people, listen, we have to make an effort in order to come to know about the aqidah of al-Islam by reading those books that have been written past and present, and that have been translated into English even, so that we can get a good concept and a clear concept as to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent to be the aqidah and the minhaj of his prophet and his messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now if a person turns away from that and he finds the learning of this issue is not interesting, as some people say, that the books of al-aqidah, they're old, they're yellow books, yellow pages, they're without life, so they want the people to teach about where people just give a lot of kalam and rhetoric. Let's turn away from the books of al-aqidah and talk about the kalam and the rhetoric. You'll find if that's the person's condition, he's going to be of those people who Allah Ta'ala has not given him the rif'ah. There is no way in the world that the man can be a deviant and then at the same time he has the rif'ah in the religion. Instead, he's from the lowest of the people. As the Prophet told us sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inna Allah ihtajaza tawbata an sahib al-bid'ah. Allah Ta'ala has put a veil, a barrier, a partition between the person who does the innovation and his tawbah. He's not going to make tawbah because he feels that he's doing the right thing. So there's no need to make tawbah. He stands before Allah Ta'ala with all of those sins without ever recognizing that he was doing wrong, and then he has to be held accountable and responsible for his actions. So we can't stress enough and put enough emphasis on the issue of the salama and the aqidah of the person. The third thing that we want to mention, ikhwan, and inshallah we all have a part of this in this effort that we're doing here, and that is gaining and obtaining knowledge in the religion. Obviously, those people who know about why they're doing what they're doing, they're not like the people who don't know why they're doing what they're doing. A person can have a good heart and he's guided to the religion of Al-Islam, and that's fine and well, and it's good. But it's not enough for him to come into the religion of Al-Islam, and he just finds that it is enjoyable for him to say that my name is Ahmed, or I changed my name to Bilal, and I have my name legally changed in my passport the right way, and I pray like this and I do like that. No, the person has to make it his business and his responsibility to get as much knowledge in the religion as he possibly can. Those people who Allah Ta'ala has endowed with ilm, he's going to raise them in the dunya before the akhirah, insha'Allah Ta'ala. And the proof of that is the statement of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Allah Ta'ala has raised those people from amongst you who believe in the arkan of al-Islam, who believe in the arkan of al-Iman, who have the proper aqidah. He has raised those people in degrees. Depending upon where you are in those beliefs, you may be just a Muslim, you may be the Muhsin, you may be the Mu'min, Allah knows best. But at each level, you're better than someone else. Allah has raised those people who believe from amongst you, and those people who have been given knowledge in degrees. Those people who have not been given knowledge, they are not equal to the people who have been given knowledge. So how does Allah raise them in the dunya? In the dunya, quite naturally, the one who has the most knowledge, he's going to be the one who's going to lead the people in the salah. The one who has the most knowledge, he's going to be the one who's going to always be able to repel the tricks of a shaitan. He's not going to fall into the games that a shaitan play on him. The one who has the most knowledge in the dunya, he's the one who the people are going to look for his opinion, honor, and respect him. That's in the dunya. As the Prophet said in the authentic hadith that's been collected by Imam al-Bukhari on the authority of the Amir al-Mu'mineen, Zu al-Nurayn, Uthman ibn Affan, radiyallahu anhu, khayrukum man ta'allama al-Qur'an wa 'allamahu. The best from amongst you out of all of the people who are sitting here. There's someone from amongst us who's the best and someone who's the worst. And Allah knows the reality of the situation. The person looks within himself and he says, well, where do I think I stand? Inshallah, I may not be the best, but I sure hope I'm not the worst. The best from amongst you who are sitting here is the one who learns the Qur'an and he teaches the Qur'an to the people. The one who has been given knowledge is considered to be the one who is the best in our religion. That's in the dunya. And there are too many other examples and manifestations of how Allah Ta'ala raises the companion of the knowledge in the dunya. As for the akhirah, we have that beautiful hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which should be an encouragement and a great incentive for every Muslim man and woman who has some intellect, to turn to the Qur'an and to do the best that he can with memorizing the Qur'an and contemplating the meaning of the Qur'an and reading the Qur'an. And that's what the Prophet says, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what's going to happen Yawm al-Qiyamah, when the person is judged from this ummah and he's a companion of the Qur'an, and this statement is going to be put to the people. And that's the statement of Allah Ta'ala to the believers, as the Prophet says, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, يقال لصاحب القرآن اقرأ وارتقي ورتل كما كنت ترتل في الدنيا ورتل كما كنت ترتل في الدنيا فإن منزلتك عند آخر آية تقرأها. The person will stand after being judged. Now his place in paradise is going to be determined. So it's going to be said to him, start to read what you know from the Qur'an. Start to read. From wherever you start to read what you memorize from the Qur'an. And start to rise as a result of reading. And make the tartil of the Qur'an. For verily your place in paradise is going to be according to the last ayat that you're able to read. So the man starts to read Surah Al-Fatiha. He starts to read all of those ayat that he knows. If he only knows an ayat like Yasin, Wad-Duha, that's all he knows. The reading of that ayat is going to put him up a level. Now, if I want to go higher in the paradise, it only makes sense. 1 + 1 = 2, it'll never change. If I want to go higher to the next level, it only makes sense not to be of the people, how the majority of us are. How do I know this? Do I have knowledge of the unseen? La wallahi, because I know the people. The majority of the people have not read the Qur'an to memorize the Qur'an since a long time ago. Everyone knows this situation. So if he wants to go up higher, that hadith alone, not to mention all of those other hadith of the Qur'an or the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, should give him an incentive to say to himself, I'm going to do what? At least one of the productive ways of going about learning more of the Qur'an is something that the brothers do in our masjid, Masjid al-Istiqamah. The brother Abu Dawood, he'll say to the brother Abu Zahira, what are you working on right now from the Qur'an? What are you dealing with right now? The brother say, I'm dealing with surah such and such and such and such. He said, okay, hurry up and finish that surah because I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you that I'm going to memorize Surah Al-Talaq before next Sunday, before you can memorize Surah Al-Mujadala. So since a person feels that there's a day when he has to stand forth, step up to the plate, and then show and tell, show and prove, he has more incentive. It's just like when we were in school. You had to read and memorize from one star to the next star. You have one Qur'an class every week. You had to memorize from one star to the next star. The teacher would come into the class and he would randomly choose. You read, you read, you read. No one wanted to be the one who didn't memorize. So that positive pressure was one of the motivations that caused people to read and to memorize. Whereas when the ijazah came or when the vacation came, you didn't read as you read during the school year. So you put that positive pressure on yourself. You say to your wife, for an example, if you learn surah such and such and such a thing, I'm going to buy you this or this or that. Or I'm going to give this to you, I'm going to go and take you here or there or there. Someone may say, but isn't that riyah? Isn't the person doing that thing in order to show off, in order he's not doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Those companions, when they were in the battle of Badr, and they had the choice of meeting the caravan of Abu Sufyan, taking the money of Abu Sufyan, or dealing with those people from Quraysh, Allah Ta'ala established in the Qur'an that they wanted to get the thing that wasn't difficult. They wanted to get the caravan that wasn't protected. But when they were forced after that to fight, they went for it. The people came and gathered up against them, and Allah Ta'ala didn't speak bad about their niyat. So there's nothing wrong with that if a person wants to do it with the right intention, insha'Allah ta'ala. So al-ilm, and we can't stress enough about the importance of al-ilm, and we have to repeat something that we've been saying for a long time, and that is, people like Abu Tasneem, people like Sheikh Ibrahim, people like this who've been on this religion for 15, 20, semi-years, back then when those people came to Al-Islam, they had an excuse in front of Allah Ta'ala. Because the materials that were available in English, they came out of Pakistan and India. And we love the righteous people of Al-Hadith and of Al-Islam who come from Pakistan and India and that part of the world. But it's a well-known fact that the information that was coming out of that place was terrible, to say the least. Yusuf Ali's translation of the Qur'an, Tabligh al-Nisab, a racist, ignorant book. Those books that came out of Pakistan and India 15, 20 years ago, a person was excused from being jahil. But now in 1998, with so much activity and cooperation going on between the brothers and the sisters in writing and translating and tapes, inshallah, there's not an excuse for a man to remain ignorant today. He can know about his religion. He can know about the religion of Al-Islam. But he can't have that knowledge that is like the Swiss cheese, has holes all over it. Why? Because he picks up this book today, 40 hadith, and he says, I'm going to memorize the 40 hadith. He memorizes 2 and he puts it down. Then he goes over here and he picks up the other Salihin. He reads one chapter, the virtues of knowledge. Then he puts it down. Then he says, I'm going to read of all Sahih al-Bukhari. He goes to Kitab al-Tawheed. He reads 3 hadith from, he puts it down. I'm going to memorize Usamah. He does the last 10 surahs of the Qur'an. He puts it down. And then after that he comes, when he's faced with something that's real in his religion, about knowledge, he doesn't know the answer because he's mutalakhbat, like the fish out of the water. He doesn't know what from what, because his minhaj and knowledge is all over the place. Now he has to make a minhaj in his studies. He has to go and get that easy knowledge, those easy books, and he has to learn his religion. There's not an excuse anymore for the person not to know about the basics of this religion, inshaAllah, tabaraka wa ta'ala. The other issue that we want to mention, inshaAllah, tabaraka wa ta'ala, ikhwan, concerning the Qur'an and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises the person with it, is the hadith of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu. And this hadith has been collected by Iman Muslim. When those people came to visit Umar radiyallahu anhu in Medina, and he asked them, who did you leave back in Mecca as the leader of the people? The man who was the Amir of the believers for Umar in Mecca, he said, I left so-and-so, the son of so-and-so. Umar radiallahu anhu found that strange, and he said, isn't he the former slave of so-and-so, Ibn so-and-so? He said, yes. He said, then why and how did you leave him in charge of the honorable people of Quraysh? Quraysh are the Umara. Quraysh have the best nasab in Islam, the best lineage. How are you going to leave an ex-slave? He used to be a person who didn't even own his own self. His slave was in charge of him. He owned him. How did you leave that person who that was his condition in charge of the people? He said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, that man who we left in charge back there in Mecca, he is the most knowledgeable of the person in the Qur'an. He's the most knowledgeable one from amongst us in the Qur'an, from the people who left behind, and he knows more about the fara'id than everyone else, the laws of inheritance. Upon hearing that, Amir al-Mu'mineen al-Faruq radiyallahu anhu, he said to that man and to the believers, in relaying the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, inni sami'tu Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam yaqul, inna Allah la yad'a bihadha al-kitab aqwalan wa yad'u bihi akharin. Verily Allah is going to raise, I heard him say, the Prophet said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah will raise with this book, the Qur'an, certain people, he'll raise them up in status, like that man over there, and other people he'll put them down. He'll lower them, make them lowly. A man can have the Arabic tongue, but if he doesn't know anything about the Qur'an, he doesn't know anything about Al-Islam, the one who knows something, and even though he's an Ajami or a non-Arab, wallahi, Allah raised him over that person, so it doesn't make any, his being Arab has no virtues whatsoever. So our call, inshallah, and our encouragement to the brothers as well as the sisters is to do what? Is to, inshallah, increase our efforts with learning the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially in light of the fact that we are on the door, bi-idhnillah, of Ramadan. And this is a lesson that we learn every single year. All of us learn this lesson, and that is, when the month of Ramadan suddenly comes to us, and the excitement of Ramadan has everyone pumped up, fired up. The majority of the people read that 30th of the Qur'an the first day. The second day, he's almost through with Surah Al-Baqarah, and he's impressed with himself. And he's trying to get all of the Qur'an, which is from the Sunnah, in the month of Ramadan. He's trying to get done with the Qur'an. The fourth day, and then all of a sudden something comes up. It's the 10th of Ramadan, and all he read was 2 Jews so far. It's the 15th of Ramadan, halfway there. He should be at the halfway point in Surah Al-Kahf. No, he's not in Kahf. He's still in Surah Al-Baqarah. Why? Because he wasn't dealing with the Qur'an all year. How are you going to deal with the Qur'an with its seriousness? That serious book, all of a sudden you're going to come to that task. Inna Allah yuhibbu ma'ali al-amur. Allah loves those lofty, those great issues. How are you going to come to the Qur'an in 1 month, never dealing with it ever? Then in the month of Ramadan you're going to come, by virtue of the fact that it's Ramadan, you think you're going to get through the Qur'an? No, this is a test that we've all learned. You're not going to get through it. Not last year, not this year, inshallah. So what do? We make it our habit. We make it our habit in our business to start trying to increase, inshallah, what we're doing from the Qur'an, what we're dealing with the Qur'an. The last thing that we want to mention, inshallah, is one of those very important things that can give us the rif'ah in the religion that many people don't knock on this door as well, unfortunately, even though it's a tremendous door to knock on. But I can't fail to remember or to mention concerning the knowledge, ikhwan, and being raised in the knowledge. Those people from our ummah who Allah Ta'ala has given knowledge to, who deserve our love and our respect, just as we make salah and we get close to Allah by praying and giving sadaqah and fasting and making hajj and umrah. We should also get close to Allah Ta'ala by loving and honoring those who He has given knowledge to. But we have to have some knowledge of how the people of the past were, so that we don't go overboard. We don't want to go overboard in raising them above what is acceptable. And we don't want the other extreme of not giving them their rights. The one who has knowledge, we look at a man like Al-Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala. Al-Imam al-Bukhari, before the knowledge, he was a nobody. He was an orphan. An orphan. Allah Ta'ala in our religion made it obligatory for the people to take care of the orphan. But for the most part, he's one of those people who come low on the totem pole in terms of the asnaf of the people. The orphan, he has no father. So we have legislation in our religion telling us, treat this individual and these people like this, good. If you don't, it's oppression. Ana wa kafir al-yatim kahatayn fil jannah. Too many ayat, too many ahadith telling us about the importance of the orphan. Al-Imam al-Bukhari was an orphan, a nobody. When Allah Ta'ala gave him knowledge and He produced to the world Sahih Bukhari, now the people who are sitting here, everyone who's participating in this conference today, he sends more rahmah, more dua on Al-Imam Bukhari than he does on his mother and his father. Wallahi, I would love that Allah guide my mother and father to Al-Islam, and I make that dua, and that's one of my hopes. But I don't make dua for them half of what I make for Al-Imam al-Bukhari. When you mention his name, you say, Rahimahullahu Ta'ala, Al-Imam al-Bukhari, Radiyallahu Anhu. And everyone in the dunya is saying that about Al-Imam al-Bukhari. And the man is dead in his grave. The knowledge. Al-Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, the same thing. When Ibn Taymiyyah died and he was imprisoned, he died in the dawla, or the leader and the country, the government, they were against him. They viewed him as an enemy. They had him in prison. Yet, if I was to ask someone, Yahi, raise your hand. How many of you heard of the name Ibn Taymiyyah? Raise your hand, let me see. Everyone, the overwhelming majority. Now I want to ask the question. Who was the Khalifa? Who was the leader during the time of Ibn Taymiyyah? Nobody knows that. Why did Allah save for us the remembrance of Ibn Taymiyyah and that other man who had all the money? He had the ability to imprison Ibn Taymiyyah. He could have killed him if he wanted. We don't even know who he is, his father or his mother. We don't know his kunya, anything about him. When Ibn Taymiyyah died, they said that over 50,000 women attended his janazah salah. What about the men? They said that there were two people who had the greatest janazahs in Al-Islam, and they were Al-Imam Ahmed and Al-Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, rahmatullahi alayhima. Why? Because of the knowledge that they had. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to bless them. There's a famous scholar in Al-Islam by the name of Abu Muhammad Sulaiman ibn Mihran. He's well known to the students of knowledge as Al-Imam Al-A'mash. And the Imam al-A'mash, he wasn't a very nice looking man. And he was A'mash. That was his name, al-A'mash. He wasn't a very good looking man. And yet, he used to say to the people, if I was a baqal, if I was a man working in a grocery store, I'm a grocer, selling apples and oranges and dates, bananas, potato chips. If I was a grocer, people wouldn't pay any attention to me. Because he was one of those tough people. He was on the level of Al-Imam Sufyan al-Thawri, on the level of Al-Imam Shu'bah ibn al-Hajjaj. He was a serious man in Islam. But the point is, when he became a person endowed with knowledge, people used to try to break his door down in order to get the knowledge from him. And that's why we say to the brothers, Wallahi ikhwan, you brothers who are young, we hear people make statements out of Philadelphia, unfortunately, and out of other places, in which they give the crazy advice to the shabab, and they say, don't try to go and study in Medina. Don't try to go and study in Mecca. We say to you, don't listen to those people, because those people, wallahi, they either don't want good for you or they just don't know. We say that the man who was 18, 19, 20, before you go to get a degree, if you had an opportunity to get a degree from Harvard University or from Al-Medina, we say, akhi, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It's not even an issue that you should turn over in the bed at night. What should I do? What should I do? It's clear for your dunya and your akhirah. So those young brothers who are trying to go and study, don't give up the fight, akhi. Continue to put your fires in the iron, inshallah. Your irons in the fire. Continue to do everything within your means. And if you can't go to Medina, then go to those other places where you have those ulama and those students of knowledge who are teaching the people. So that Allah Ta'ala, inshallah, will give you some benefit and some rif'ah in the dunya. But don't let that be your intention, your niyyah. The niyyah should be, because it's one of the best ways to please Allah, and it's obligatory upon all of us to raise off of ourselves ignorance. The last thing that we want to mention in terms of the rif'ah that most of the people don't really take care of, and they see it as one of the weak things to do, and that is ad-du'a. Ad-du'a. وَخَافَةٌ أَنْتُمْ مُسَافِرُونَ. People should be making dua, taking advantage of the fact that we are travelers in the earth. For verily the dua of the traveler is accepted, insha'Allah ta'ala. We've been ordered to make dua in the Qur'an. وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ عُدُعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Allah ordered you. Allah said, and your Lord said, call unto me. He has ordered you. عُدُعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Make dua to me for those things that you need in your life, and I will answer your dua. In another ayat of the Qur'an, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about the evil of the people who don't make dua for whatever reason, because they intentionally turn away, or because they are from the ghafilin. They are not cognizant. They are in the dunya and they just forget. When he said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ إِبَادَتِي فَيَدْخُلُونَ جَهَنَّمْ دَاخِرِينَ. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ إِبَادَتِي. Those people who are arrogant as it relates to my ibadah. Allah called the dua in this ayat ibadah. Those people who are arrogant, proud, and they don't make the dua, what's their recompense? What's their reward? I'm going to cause them to enter into the Jahannam, and they're going to be of the people who enter. So what's the proof that the dua will raise a person and give him the rif'ah? It's the dua of the people. Step in front of the people and give them a nice little talk about a hadith or two or three, or an ayah, or an issue. But he stands back and he waits for the other people to always pass and to establish the religion. Wallahi, it's a shame. This is our masjid, for an example. If the light bulb goes out and this doesn't work, all of the other lights are working, the majority of the people will come every day and pray, and not a single one will look up there and say, let me go ask, is there another light bulb? Let me get up there and change the light bulb. No, we have to wait for the imam to do it, We have to wait for the custodian of the masjid to do it. That's the mentality of the people. Wallahi, you go to the masjid, wherever you go, you look around, you say, subhanAllah, these people have no concern about the bait of Allah Ta'ala. Why? Because it's not that the people hate it or the people are lazy even. Most of the time it's because the people don't really have that incentive to step out there and say, I have something burning in my chest. I have in our masjid a group of brothers. May Allah Ta'ala preserve them and establish them more. One day I was late for the masjid for the khutbah. Had some car troubles. Called up to the masjid and I said, look, I'm going to be late. If I don't come in this much time, get brother so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Ask them from our Arab brothers who are upon the dawah. They're not prepared. Now they're coming to the masjid to listen, to be entertained, to listen to somebody else. Ask brother so-and-so, so-and-so and so-and-so. Prior to me even getting there, they had discussed among themselves, no, Akhi, you get up there and you get the khutbah. You come here every day for salah. We from the people of the masjid, we just got to be ready. We have to step up to the plate and hit the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. You got to deal with it. When they asked the first brother, obviously, you know what the result was going to be. At that point, the man gets a nervousness that he didn't know prior to that time. All three of them. All three of them. No, you guys laugh and I'll put you in the same position. You're going to be the same way. I got to go make wudu, I got to have a bowel movement. I don't feel real good. I'm not comfortable. And then we'll start using a hadith. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. How you going to put me in? Ya akhi, we shouldn't talk if we don't have knowledge. What you talking about? You can't get up on the minbar, praise Allah a minute or two or three, do what you can do? No, most of the people can do that. So this issue of waiting for the same people, Allah, is foreign to Al-Islam. If this was the way that the companions were upon, the dawah of Al-Islam and the nur of Al-Islam wouldn't have never reached the four corners of the universe. So the issue that we want to complete here, insha'Allah ta'ala, is the dua. Allah ta'ala showed us in the Qur'an how those believers make dua that they are made to be imams for the muttaqeen. Imams for the muttaqeen. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِنَّمَا الْإِمَامِ جُنَّةٌ يُقَاتُلْ مِنْ وَرَائِهِ. The imam is a shield that you fight behind. For the brothers who believe jihad is without an imam and we can blow up buses while we're living in Afghanistan in the mountains somewhere, giving interviews to CNN, and they know exactly where you are, and we're creating all kind of havoc all over the world. We're going to blow this up and blow that up and kill this one and declare jihad against innocent men and women and children. No, as jihad, the imam is a shield that is fought behind. So those people make the dua. Make us imams. Put me on Front Street. Ya Allah, give me a way, give me the rif'ah to deal with the situation. Because I know, once I get out there like that, I'm going to have those people going to talk about me. Going to have those people going to slander me. I'm going to have those people going to invade my privacy. Going to have those people who are going to be oppressive towards me. But again, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ مَعَالِيَ الْأَمُورِ وَأَشْرَافَهَا وَيَكْرَهُ سِفْسَافَهَا أو سَفْسَافَهَا. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, verily Allah Ta'ala, He loves those lofty and exalted objectives and goals, those high issues. How to build schools, how to memorize the Qur'an, how to get a study program and to stick to it, how to get married and to be a just husband, how to be an obedient wife, how to be a good parent. Those are the issues that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. And we'll take the questions of the brothers and the sisters now, bi-idhnillah, tabarak wa ta'ala, for the time that has been allotted to us. As I understand, there's going to be a nadwa tonight in which there are going to be multiple participants. So if your question doesn't get taken right now, hopefully it'll get taken in the nighttime. I want to make mention as well that we have all of the latest tapes from Masjid al-Istiqamah. For those brothers and sisters who want to purchase the tapes from Masjid al-Istiqamah, you'll be the only ones in the dunya with the brand spanking new information, inshallah. We have a question that came to us prior to us starting, and I believe it came from the sister side, where she said, for those of us who are traveling, should we be combining the Dhuhr prayer and the Asr prayer and the Maghrib and the Isha? If so, why are we taking breaks to offer each salah individually? We have many hardships. We have a place and the time to offer each individually. Also, some people do not shorten their salah as qasr when traveling. Please explain. Very briefly, it's an easy issue. Since there are people from this locale, and there are quite a few people, and I understand that the Imam is from this locale, we should pray with that Imam whatever he prays, and take into consideration that these people are the ones who live here. Now, if someone else is praying, you're going to say that he's going to shorten his salah. If he's a traveler from the shuyukh, he's going to shorten them. So now that's no problem. You're going to shorten your prayer. But what should we do as far as combining them? You shouldn't combine them. You should continue to pray with the Jama'at at each time that it's established in order to get the reward, inshallah, of praying in the Jama'at. But if the sister has a reason, or the brother has a reason, and they combine the prayer, there's no problem. No problem. Just when the next prayer comes around, let him not sit in the musalla where the people are praying, and he's sitting there, the people are praying, and he's not praying. Which brings us to the other issue, and that is, those of us who are here, and you want to combine, or you want to do anything else, we have to develop a new minhaj in our understanding. And it shouldn't be new. This is something that we want you to come to know about, and it has to become a part of your blood and your meat. And that is, when you have people of knowledge around you, then don't move until you see what they're doing. Rest assured, you're going to be on the right track. You're going to be on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, inshallah. Don't make your ijtihad. How are you going to make ijtihad? You go to Medina, Imam Malik is in Medina, and you're going to give the fatwa. How? No, they're around. Just take it easy. Watch what they're doing, and you say, what they do is enough for me. And if you wanted further clarification on that, you ask someone, and so forth and so on. So the sister, she can shorten. You have to shorten the prayer if you're a traveler. If you're praying, leading the people in the salah, you're praying by yourself, you have to shorten your prayer. And if you want to combine them, you can combine them. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
Just a quick announcement before we go with the rest of the questions. If anyone has questions which are not related directly to the fiqh, then please drop them in the box over here, and we can get them answered tonight in the open session. And if they're not answered, then we'll gather them up, we'll get the people of knowledge to answer them, and then we'll be able to publish them in Huda. So inshallah, if it's not related directly to the subject, let's place it in the box over here. The next question is there any authentic evidence regarding the virtues of Surah Al-Mulk?
To my knowledge, I don't know anything. Surah Al-Mulk, whoever reads it, he'll never go poor. It's not authentic. So I don't know anything that's been authentically proven concerning Surah Al-Mulk. Allahu Ta'ala A'lam. Our brother who didn't participate with us here today, he's not here. He wrote a nice book concerning this. He didn't mention anything about Surah Al-Mulk, Mashhur Hassan, about the fada'il of the Qur'an. So I don't know anything concerning the virtues of Surah Al-Mulk.
Sister asks, what is a woman to do if her husband doesn't teach her because he is too busy, even though he knows much more than his wife? When a woman has to obey her husband to the extent that it is obligatory on her, what does she do about seeking knowledge if her husband is not consistent in his teaching and his wife can't read the Qur'an?
The answer to that is simple, inshallah, but the application may be difficult. And that is, we follow the statement of Allah, the command of Allah, Taqullah mastata'tum. Fear Allah to the best of your ability. If your husband has legitimate reasons that make him busy, by the time he comes home, he's beat down, he's worn out, it's difficult for him, then she has to do the best that she can by being self-motivated, by getting tapes, reading books by herself. But it's not an excuse for the husband, because one of his primary responsibilities, along with bringing home her sustenance by Allah's permission, is to teach his family, to save his family from the hellfire. so he also should make the wasa'il available so that his wife can come to learn. The sister just has to fear Allah to the best of her ability, and this is not an excuse. That's acceptable. It's a legitimate reason that it shows us that it can be more difficult for her, but still we're living in a time of technology. I heard one of the shuyukh who came to Orlando recently, they're going to participate in the thing that's taking place in Tampa, but we wanted to be with the people whose minhaj was clearer, to the people we felt were more knowledgeable, so we came to Texas. Now we wanted to be with the people whose minhaj is clearer and knowledge more established. Anyway, one of those good brothers, inshallah, came to our masjid and he talked about something similar to what I talked about today. And he talked about how today the technology allows us to have the greatest, most knowledgeable sheikh, alim in all of the Muslim world. You can have him right in your house today. All you have to do is put him on and press play, and the sheikh start talking. The greatest sheikh in the world. And you can say, Sheikh, I want to hear you now, or Sheikh, I don't want to hear you now. Sheikh, come with me in the car, I want to go to work. Come on, Sheikh, come with me. You have him in the car. And you're listening to the Sheikh. Sheikh, tell me that hadith again. You rewind it, play it again. So what's the excuse? The internet, instead of wasting your time on those chat rooms or in those chat rooms that are useless, a waste of time. Brothers like the QSS, they have their web page, 1,000 pages of information. What do you want to know? What do you want to know about the fatwa of al-Islam? What do you want to know, sister? So if the brother is going to be busy with the dunya, he has to at least do the best that he can by providing for her all of the wasa'il, the means and the ways for her to get educated. And she, knowing how women, they know how to push the right buttons, she can be the motivating factor for her husband. No man wants to have his wife surpass him in knowledge. If he's worth his weight in salt, he doesn't want his wife to be more knowledgeable than him, just like he doesn't want her to be stronger than him, just like he doesn't want to be the one who has to obey her. It's against the fitrah. And anyone who's in that situation, he's in a situation that's against the fitrah. So she should just try her best, inshallah. Allah Ta'ala give her tawfiq, make dua.
The brother asks, we should respect those knowledgeable in the Qur'an and the Sunnah. What do we do when a controversy arises and two scholars or learned people differ on their views on how to solve it? Basically, when two Islamic ideologies derived from the Qur'an and the Hadith clash, what do we do? And what do we, as the less knowledgeable people, do?
Clearly, if one of the two positions is supported by the weightier opinion, we take the haqq. Do we make the adhan for Salatul Fajr, as we dealt with this issue in Ottawa 2 days ago? The older Syrian brother, mashallah, was the father of one of the brothers there, and we had dinner together. When we went into the masjid for our first Fajr there, the Sheikh, Jazahullahu Khair, he said, As-salatu khairu min an-nawm. He said that for the Fajr Salah. Then when the ish came up at night time, you present it to him in a nice way. Ya ammi, ya uncle, you know, I heard that in a nice way. Wallahi, the Muslims have good in their hearts, especially the people from Sham, who the Prophet said about them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِذَا فَسَدَ أَهْلُ شَامٍ فَلَا خَيْرُ فِيكُمْ. The people of Sham become no good, then you people are no good. This ummah, he connected the goodness of our ummah with the goodness of the people of Sham. There's a lot of good in the ummah. The people from Afghanistan and from Pakistan and from India, from Persian descent, they have a lot of good. All of them are not muta'assib. When Salman was sitting in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ and he told us, لو كان الإيمان عند الثريا لتناله رجال من هؤلاء. If faith was up in the stars of Pegasus, someone from these people would have gotten it. To show you the virtues of the Persian people, somebody going to get that knowledge no matter where it's at from these people. So it's not all of them. Quraysh, Arabs, everybody got some good. So that man was from Syria. And when we talked to him like that, wallahi, he said to us, using a strong argument, but I saw in the book that came out of Saudi Arabia that Sheikh so-and-so said, you could say it at that time, and I went to Mecca, and I went to Medina, and they were doing it. Going to Mecca and Medina and watching it doesn't mean anything. But what that sheikh said, he's a respected scholar in Islam. Now he said something and another sheikh said something else. We have to look at the proof. The adhan for Yawm al-Jum'ah being 1 or 2. They say you can do it too. You say what? No, you look at the proofs. When the haqq is with one of them, you take it clearly. The companions had ikhtilaf amongst themselves. This one will say that one, the other one will say this one. Wait, just by virtue of the fact that companions, either when you take, you're okay? La, kalla, wallahi. You have to look at the truth being with who? Some of them said that the Prophet saw Allah. Other ones said no, the Prophet didn't see Allah. And they all had their proofs. You have to weigh which is the greatest. There are certain issues we have the ability to see where the truth is. And that's easy. Where you see which one is right, you take it and you tawakkal ala Allah. That's easy. What about the one when it's difficult? Laymen like us, regular people like us, we see so many opinions and we come across that. Someone who's well respected. We don't become faint-hearted and we lose our direction. Nah. We go with that opinion after making some effort, some ijtihad to understand. We did as much as we possibly could to understand the issue for our own selves, and we just taken a position based upon what I understand to the best of my ability. It's as simple as that. You are not a mujtahid. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Okay, I asked the people of knowledge when I didn't know. I saw they had a difference. And it's hard for me to make the tarjih. If I can't make the tarjih, I tawaqqaf. I just don't make a decision if I'm afforded that luxury. So it's not a difficult issue, ikhwan. And I ask you by the Lord of the Kaaba, I ask all of you, how many of us in our real lives are faced with 5 situations that are dealing with our lives today? Serious issues where this scholar said one thing and he said another thing, where we have to lose sleep over. It's a big issue. None of us are dealing with 5 issues. And the issues that we're dealing with, inshallah, they're easy. Do I put my hand like this when I come up from ruku or not? That's one of them. Easy issues. You don't do it, alhamdulillah, you follow somebody based upon knowledge. If you did it, alhamdulillah, you follow someone based upon knowledge. Should I move my finger, not move my finger? What's the evil that comes as a result of that? Not doing it or doing it. So the reality of it is, it's not something that is really affecting our lives where we make this big issue, where we see brothers and sisters doing what? Making wala wa bara on these issues. If you're doing this, then you on the haqq, you're okay. But if you're doing the other way, no, you with the people, you're not okay. No, that's going astray, inshallah. Fadda ya.
Question asks, how do we reconcile the ayah in the Qur'an about asking Allah to be imams of the muttaqun with the narrations that come from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam discouraging asking for leadership?
Because the ayah, first of all, is not telling people to ask for leadership as such. I want to be an imam like Al-Imam al-Bukhari. Where was the leadership? When he said to Abu Dharr radiyallahu anhu, Ya Aba Dharr, inni araka rajulan da'ifa. I see you as a weak man. فَلَا تُؤَمَّرَنَّ عَلَى إِثْنَيْنِ. So don't become the amir of 2 people. Even in the trip, don't you become the amir. Don't be responsible. You're going to be making decisions. Hey, go in, go in. We're going to eat here. We're going to get gas here. No, we're going to stop there. We're going to... Don't do that, Abu Dharr. And Imam al-Bukhari is an imam. But where was Al-Imam al-Bukhari responsible for the Baytul Mal? Where was Al-Imam al-Bukhari responsible for the issues of doing the life, taking care of the lives of the people? لا تناقض بين هذا وذاك. No contradiction. And the last thing to add on to that is, if a man has the ability now to be the leader, to lead and make decisions, it may become wajib upon him to step up to the plate. To step up to the plate. Now you're standing in the salah, and someone who is not practicing the apparent of al-Islam, or you know his recitation is not the proper recitation, or what he believes is not what is the right thing. You can't be humble now and say, look down the line, tfaddal, 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 tfaddal. No, you now have to step up to the plate. And that's Islam. That's being a man now. So there's no contradiction, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan. The brother asks, Assalamu alaikum. You referred to a tablighi nisab as containing ignorance. The ignorance is understandable, but could you give us, or could you let us know about the racism that you mentioned?
One of the narrations is the narration of the black man who had a big nose and big lips. He was on the boat, the storm came, and the lady who wasn't black was on the boat with him. The storm broke up the boat. The black man with the big nose and the big lips and the lady were holding on to a plank in the middle of the ocean. While they were on the boat, the black man with the big nose and the big lips, he wanted to have relationships with the lady, the pure non-black lady. So when they were in the water, in the ocean, in the ocean, on a plank together, sharks, whales, coldness, you want to drown, all those things that go through your mind, the black man with the big nose and the big lips, he still wanted to get the woman in the water. Tablighi nisab ya akhi. Now my point is, someone may say, akhi, you can't be paranoid. You can't be like some of those people who everything that go on, they say racism. You go up to the desk at the airport, the lady say, wait, just a minute, I'll be right back. Because I'm a black man, you want to leave right now? No, some people are like that. They're paranoid. They go overboard. But all you have to do, ya akhi, all you have to do, ya Abdullah, is, on top of that, be a part of that environment and you'll see the racism. So how else am I going to do what? How else am I going to make a tafsir of that type of story when I see the behavior in real life? Now I'm the sheikh. Sorry about that. Listen, sheikh, I'm sorry. We're going to let you go now. We're going to go.
We're not going to have...
said, I guess this is against the system.
Yeah,
it's up to them.
The system here is that all the questions should be written, and then if the questions aren't for the situation, then we will take them in the open session.
Sorry about that, sheikh.
The time is almost up.
What we can do, you and I, inshallah, very easily. It's very easy, I'm sorry, very easy. We'll go offline, you and I. Sheikh, 1 minute. Okay, then that's easy. Okay, that's from your haq.
We're not going to take any more comments.
Sheikh, don't get upset for that. I want to end with this, inshallah. I want to end with this. One of the things that I really hate and that I'm glad that I left Christianity for, and we encourage you to get the tape. What is it called? Bridging the Gap. We're going to give some of you it for free, inshallah. Why a person feels blessed to leave Christianity. How your mother, your father, the other people from Christianity, they get upset with you when you tell them things that they never heard before, like racism in the Bible. They get upset. How dare you to put forth that claim? Racism in the Bible, the book of God Almighty. Yeah, I can show you the racism. If I'm going to make the claim in front of all of these witnesses, what do you think, I'm going to lie on those people, on that book? No, I'm not going to lie. So now the thing is, why as soon as we hear something, some of us, we get upset because it's going against something that has become a part of my blood and my life. Nah, the Muslim is always humble. He says, just bring me the proof, inshallah. Hatu burhanakum in kuntum sadiqin. Bring your proof. And if you don't and you can't, then I'm going to show the people you're a liar. Or I'm going to show the people your knowledge is not really tight. You're not garbage because you say things in public that's not really true. It's easy. It's that simple. But I'm going to at least approach the issue where I'm going to say to myself, hey, it's possible. And if that is the truth, then I have to really, take heed. Now when we find it to be true, we want to see the same type of Hamas. What is it? We want to see the same amount of enthusiasm for getting rid of him and saying, look, things like this are below us to take as our religion. And by the Lord of the Kaaba, we can give other examples about Tablighi Nisab. The Shuyukh wrote books about Tablighi Nisab. Ulama al-Hadith, about the weak Hadith, the fabricated Hadith. It's enough that there are fabricated Hadith in the book being passed off as being the statements of the Prophet ﷺ. But in saying that, I didn't come here trying to agitate the issue and make people upset or anything like that. But the truth is the truth, and falsehood is falsehood. And all we have to do, inshallah, is cooperate with each other. If someone can bring me the book, inshallah, we'll give it to you. We'll show you.
Jazakallahu khairan. And with that, we're going to finish. I just had one correction. The verse that the brother quoted was يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ.
What you quote that?
He said وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ.
So
it's in Surah Al-Mujadala. So with that, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك.